All right, the Kaʻū Community Development Plan Action Committee will now come to order. It is Tuesday, January 27th, 2026. The time is 5:06 p.m. This meeting is being held in person and by interactive conference technology. The meeting will also be recorded and uploaded to the Planning Department's YouTube channel. As a reminder, per Sunshine Law, Action Committee members appearing remotely must keep their cameras on and announce anyone who's with them, except for minors in their location. We will now do a roll call. Committee member Babette Morrow.
Here.
David Kohivanui.
Here.
Taylor Spurgeon. Here. Catherine Williams. Catherine. Kaveni Ibarra.
Here.
Gary Davis.
Here.
Vice Chair Kaohinani Mokuhali.
Here.
And I am Chair Jason Masters. We have a quorum to hold this meeting. Looks like Catherine Williams is absent. From the Planning Department staff, we have Miriam Palma and Cabello Kalili here in person, and Janice Hata joining us on Zoom. For housekeeping, please make sure your cell phones are turned off or on silent mode. If there is anyone here who would like to testify, please fill out a sign-up form and give it to the planning staff. Zoom testifiers can raise their hand or send a message in the chat to the Zoom host indicating which item they wish to testify. We ask that everyone please state your name before speaking for the record. To all of you who are attending here in person, please remember to speak toward the owl, and we also will have a microphone provided. We will now consider approving the draft minutes from the November 18th, 2025 meeting. The time is now 5:08 p.m. The committee will now consider approving those draft minutes. May I ask for a motion to approve the November 18th meeting minutes as circulated?
I'll move to approve them. Or make a motion to approve them.
All right, and I will second. I had no corrections.
I do.
Oh, okay. Well, we will hear the corrections.
Okay, on line 64, where it says occurring on conservancy land, it should be the Nature Conservancy land. And then on line 81, it followed the awarding of PONC funds. That was an error. It should be Board of Land and Natural Resources, so the BLNR. Not PONC, BLNR. And then, question to Brenda. All during the minutes, it has you as Ms. Brenda. So I have, all of that should be Mrs. And that's on line 160.
Excuse me, can we bring the mic down so we can hear better?
Okay, is that better? Okay. Line 160, 163, 167, 170, 172, 179. That's all the corrections I have.
All right. Are there any further corrections? All right. So at this time, we have a motion to approve the minutes with the corrections as presented.
I'll second.
We're so we had no, I think we'll add the corrections.
Okay.
All right, we can just do all those in favor, correct? Yeah, so all those in favor of the November 18th, 2025 Action Committee meetings as corrected. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, seeing none in opposition, we will move forward. The time is now 5:11 p.m. The committee will now call for statements from the public as stated in the published agenda. Members of the public may provide public testimony regarding any agenda item now or at the time the agenda item is called to order. Public testimony may be limited to 3 minutes in length per agenda item. If there's anyone here who would like to testify, again, please fill out the sign-up forms. I have several here in front of me. And Well, it hasn't been noted. Would anybody like to testify before we move to our business items? All right, seeing none, are there any Zoom testifiers at this time? All right, seeing none, we will move forward to business items. The time is now 5:12 p.m. The committee will now move on to business item number 1, Hilea Property Permitted Interaction Group. The Hilea Property Permitted Action Group will discuss the proposed acquisition with our action committee and a representative, I believe, is here from the Nature Conservancy. So at this time, is there anybody from the public that wishes to testify on this item? All right, seeing none, does anyone have a motion on this item? I guess it would come from the interaction group.
Do I make a motion to discuss it?
Yeah.
I'll move that we move into the discussion about this item.
Okay,
I'll second.
we have a second. So the item is now open for discussion.
Okay, so yeah, we gave our presentation last meeting. I'm the only one from the permitted interaction group right now. But if you can, I'll call up Shaylin, president from the Nature Conservancy, and he has a presentation for us.
All right, yes, it is that.
Oh, right there. Okay, just use this one. All right.
Yeah, I apologize, our other microphone is not working today.
Hello, I'm Shaylin Kreisel, for the record, from the Nature Conservancy, and I hope I'm able to answer some questions or offer some value in the discussion that the committee is going to have on this acquisition.
All right. Are there any questions at this time?
What is the Nature Conservancy is all up to? What are you guys doing about the right-of-ways and all that public access? That's a big issue for the community. We want to know what are you guys doing about that? Are you guys going to waive it over so nobody have any rights for the Nature Conservancy? Whatever land you guys want to collect.
So the question is about public access provided.
Right-of-ways, if we can get the right-of-ways, that's better. To all of the property that you guys trying to get.
Well, the property is owned by the Nature Conservancy. I don't know if we have a map today, but there's 4 units within the Kaʻū Forest Reserve. They're all located at the lowest elevation of the forest. All 4 are accessible. The access program is provided to the property that is landlocked behind private lands, Wilson Trust lands, has a hunting access, it's a community hunting access program. And so the other 2 parcels that are located on Waiahinu, those are both accessible from Mountain House Road, a public right of way. And Kaʻū parcel is also landlocked behind Olson Trust land, and it is adjacent and contiguous to the Kaʻū Forest Reserve. So access isn't offered or prevented because it is contiguous to the public lands.
Help me out a little bit here. Did you guys already purchase that land from Olsen Trust? You guys already purchased all that land?
No.
Okay, maybe we gotta come back to the community. We gotta get more meetings because everybody wanna see what you're gonna do and what you're not gonna do. You gotta get a plan, a map like what she does. You know, like shipping it out in Pahala. Because the community have no idea what you guys up to. You guys just write a script on one side of the whole newspaper and children have once upon a time. But that's all we got. The community have no idea what Nature Conservancy want to do, but take more land.
They had a presentation in Pahala before you folks came on board. And it was a pretty extensive question and answers also with representatives. So we can probably catch you up on some of that information, but those are good questions to ask.
Yeah, because you know what, the community is telling me they have no idea what's going on. So maybe we gotta reschedule all this again. We gotta come back to the community. We gotta do this what you guys did in Pahala. I wasn't there. And a lot of people from our community wasn't there. So we gotta reach out to the community because this is the community of Kaʻū that's born and raised here. That's the community. The people born and raised here on the plantation days. Go talk to them. Let them know what you guys want to do. Because nobody have any idea what you guys want to do, but take more land.
I just want to make sure that I point out in that presentation that Dakota is mentioning, we do detail that we've had thousands of school students come up to the preserve over the years, Naval Elementary, Volcano School of Arts and Sciences, Kaʻū Elementary, and middle school. We hold volunteer days monthly. We've had also around about 1,000 volunteers who come on. So I understand that you feel that we should be doing a lot more work, and I believe that for this property acquisition, it would make sense for us to have more community interaction. I think the message I'm hearing is that you believe that we should be doing that in maybe a forum of some sort, or holding meetings that will provide more information about land protection work that we're doing.
Oh, you know, somehow we lost communication over here because I said we got to come back to the community and bring all it up again one more time. But like I said, people don't know what you guys are doing. You know, teaching a kid, bringing them to the stuff to the land, taking them here and there, that looks good for you guys. Teaching a kid, education is the number one thing, right? There's no doubt about that. But let the people know what's going on, what you guys want to do. We got to do it all over again. That's all I'm asking. Because we want to know the right-of-way, state of right-of-way. Access, state of access. You know? We don't want to stop nothing. And it's not only for hunting. It's just to spend a day. Whether it's gathering rice, just going out there, enjoying the rain, enjoying the sun. There's all kinds of ways to enjoy that land. Besides only one people, one bunch. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, that's what the community wants. It's not what I want.
I mean, if there were questions about access, I think the maps would be helpful, but what I heard is more of this is a very broad effort to inform and to get the message out there, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it sounds to me like, if, you know, similar to other groups have done, you know, maybe if the Nature Conservancy had like an open house night in Pahala or as appropriate, so that, because you guys are active all over Kaʻū and beyond, obviously, so that people do know, you know, what's happening, what's proposed, what rights they have, you know, if there are any restrictions. I think it's a, you know, it could be a request for you, but obviously I don't know that we can require that.
Yeah, we shouldn't be going on a waiting list and stuff, you know what I'm saying? If the right of way is the right of way, we're going to just go up there because it's the right of way.
Can I ask a question? Are you referring to the acquisition, the new acquisition, or in general what Nature Conservancy
I
does?
just want to see the whole plan, the whole idea, what they want to do again.
Of the
That's all I want to see.
acquisition?
Yeah.
Or what they already do?
Yeah,
What they already have.
what they want to do, what they really did. Because like I said, the community have no idea.
Well, the initiative here, what we're trying to do is raise funds towards the purchase and then the inclusion of the lands that are in Makanao, Papua, the lands in Hilera that are for sale at Olson Trust.
You guys know, when Nature Conservancy telling me that you guys are raising funds, you know, that's just really disturbing. Because Nature Conservancy is the richest people out there, non-profit organization. You know that. I know that. You guys don't have to raise funds, because you guys get all kind of funds coming in from you guys. So it's not like, and then why is it the state of Hawaii giving you guys all this money you guys are asking for?
Well, as a nonprofit, the way that we raise funds is that it's restricted in the nature of how it can be spent. So the funds that we're asking to raise here can't be spent on my salary, any of the equipment or vehicles it takes for us to do our conservation work. It's only for the acquisition of the property. It's to raise the fair market value property value. That's the way that that's the reason for the raising of the funds. If we're able to do this acquisition, the goal will be to add it to the existing management of the preserve. We'd keep the 3 ranches that are leasing the property from Gracie now on the property. We would continue to access for, as I say, volunteer events and student education program.
The education program is always the thing, you always going to come up with Nature Conservancy. But how many people are going to benefit from this? Is our community going to benefit? Or just the ranchers going to benefit?
Well, when the property came up for sale, it's clear that subdivision is one of the options that a prospective buyer would be looking at. That subdivision could result in us not having the kinds of access that, well, TNC is being able to have a proven track record of being able to provide to get to the forest. Other developer or other landowner might not want to work with the community in that way. We've shown that that's something that we've been willing to do since 2003, property was purchased from Seabrook.
Ain't Nature Conservancy a developer? Ain't you guys a developer? Nature Conservancy?
No, the lands that TNC had purchased.
If you guys gonna fence up the place, you guys are a developer also. Anything you guys gonna do, it's not in nature, it's not nature there. If you're gonna fence it up, it's development. I just don't understand the point. You're telling me that you guys don't develop.
In Hawaii, if you do not fence and keep animals out of the forest, you'll watch those forests degrade. You'll lose your watershed. And that's been proven for 200 years. I respectfully disagree with you.
Oh, what 3 ranches you got up there?
That's MJ, Wally Andrade and his family, Richard Johansson, Tyler, and the Queen, Michelle and Guy.
So all of this right here is gonna benefit those 3 ranches. Who's benefit from this? Is the community? How the community gonna benefit for all this land that you guys are gonna control?
I can also remind you
For the
that,
employees, of you guys the employees, and the ranch employees?
I'll also remind you that for the 15-year planning process the county undertook to identify the initiatives that the community felt were most important, Mackinac was called out specifically as being a place that should be protected. And in your action guide, Initiative 4.2 identifies Mackinac and the addition of Mackinac to the existing system of preserves as being a top priority for the community development plan, as identified by that Kaʻū community.
Well, like I say, the community from Kaʻū said no, they don't see that. They don't see that's gonna benefit them.
I respectfully
So
disagree.
you wanna see it all over again, so, I'm not sure what track you are. You and I is two different guys, man. So I'm for the community, you guys for Nature Conservancy. The community does not like that. They want a right of way. They want to come and go like they did for the last 1,000 years. Don't block them up.
Alright, so maybe once this is moving more forward, we could have you guys come back again, perhaps, and share the previous presentation, showing where the existing Nature Conservancy parcel is and what's being potentially proposed for acquisition. And then again, if there are any access issues, the public could hear or ask you questions at that time.
Is there an offer for us to cover the maps that were provided to the committee?
Yeah.
Oh, don't show it to me. Don't show it to me tonight. You got to hold another meeting and get the community to come.
Yeah, so
That's what I'm
We
saying.
waited for about a year for this
That's what I'm saying.
to come up. And so we did the visit with the Urban Action Group about 6 months ago, so I understand there's not enough time for tonight, and I understand that.
Yeah, you got to reschedule another meeting. That's all I'm asking. That's all the community is asking. They want to know what you guys going to do.
Yeah, you're in talks already with Olson to purchase that?
Yes, sir.
This is all in. Yeah. So it is on the agenda, it's in your packet.
Yeah. But I want to see more than that.
So how much land do you folks have already out there?
The preserves, the 4 parcels that are in the Kaʻū Preserve are 3,511 acres, of which 2,000 are managed with fenced ungulates removed and fences in place in the perimeter of the upper headwaters of the hill there, holding all the law.
So the fencing is mostly to keep out goats, pigs, cows, whatever.
That's right, yes.
Not people.
There's 6 crossovers that allow for access over the fences, as well as the community hunting access program that's been in place since 2007. We keep a list of members of the community that visit and have participated in the program. It's been a valuable way for community members that are interested in getting into areas of preserved or otherwise landlocked and private property.
Is there any other questions at this time, or?
No, I just,
Okay. So this, so the map shows, so the existing,
Yeah, I got the map, I see the map, I know what the map look like, but I wanna see what they're gonna do, I wanna see the fences, how they gonna put their fences, where they gonna put their fences, where the gate gonna go up, where they gonna stop the access, where they gonna stop the right of way, that gotta come up, I can even get that all day long, it doesn't do me no damn good, it doesn't do the community no good. Well, I wanna see it right there in front of me, show me on the plan, show me on the map right there, not this. This ain't nothing.
So you're specific, talking about like if the existing
whole thing.
parcel, like where a fence.
Whatever they're gonna do, the whole land, the whole movement, whatever they're doing. That's all gonna see, the community wanna see that.
Would you have something like this at this stage in the proposed?
They gotta get, they
In
gotta get
January of
everything.
last year, when we presented to the BLNR, we put together a presentation that outlined TNC's management for the last 20 years and discusses the properties that TNC has been working to protect watershed and freshwater resources. The maps that are being shared there show the properties that the presentation focused on. And then you can see that in red, which is kind of difficult to see here, but there's an outline showing the Olson Trust property that's up for sale and TNC is looking to raise the purchase price for.
Question, Shannon, would you, your presentation that you gave to the LNR, would you be able to put that together again in a meeting held in Pahala?
If that's desired, we'd be happy to.
Okay. Yeah,
Let's
so I
just
think,
do that,
yeah, so I think,
if you don't mind.
So this-
That's what I believe what he's asking.
yeah, so this item is just for the permitted interaction group, and I believe it's the final meeting, regarding that. permitted
Because you know,
interaction.
also,
But, so let me finish. So if we could request then that the Nature Conservancy come back at, a meeting in Pahala, if you're ready at your next meeting, I don't know what the date is offhand. And you can provide the presentation that you already, presented to, who was it?
The LNR,
Oh, okay, yeah.
how much time would that take?
That took about 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
And we will put that on.
Do we need to make that a motion, or?
I got one more question, How many miles of fencing you guys talking about?
What's in the preserve now is 5.5 miles of fence that protects 2,000 acres of wet forest. Those are roadside fences. Those fences have been built by hand using brushing and clearing a corridor of 4 feet wide, and then posts were recombinant using traditional T-post driver. We don't actually develop. It's a form of fence management that's considered to be the most effective way of protecting watershed biodiversity in critical point islands.
And you guys got roads to put the fence on? You guys got roads to put the fence on, or you guys gonna build roads?
Roads.
Oh, you just make a pathway, you said, and that's.
That's right, yeah, follow the corridor through the forest, so there's no roads built for the fence.
You guys gonna make a road?
We don't make roads to build a fence.
You just build a fence.
It's conservation land, so we have to go through a permit process with the Office of Coastal Conservation Lands to identify what the footprint will be, so the actual acreage of the fence, meaning you've got a 4-foot wide corridor that is going to be 5.5 miles in length, and so that gets reviewed, and we have to do an archaeological survey over that corridor before any brushing or fence construction begins.
If we can bring that out to our community again and hold another meeting, that'll be great.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. I don't want to just see a map like this.
All right, do we need him to sign in, Guy Enriquez? Do you have just a quick question?
Yeah, I have a quick question. I live right below Hill Road that runs from Highway 11 that goes to the back. I think it's County Road, to my knowledge. How far down is that your acquisition is coming? I can't see that from here.
I hear you. I can't see it very well either.
Wait, so the question was the road from,
I want to know how far Mackay does the acquisition property is coming.
So this here, the yellow line is Highway 11.
Okay.
The 1,916 acres owned by the Olson Trust is outlined in this dark red here. And so this is that front of Mount, the sugar, what is it, field C2.
Yeah.
So the parcel comes down to just about the top of the head of 80 feet. And so that land that's down below the Hilea's village site isn't included in that part, this parcel. Those land owned by the Olson Trust extend down to the highway, but aren't part of this project.
I can see it really good right now, thank you. Perfect.
Yes,
Thank
David.
So, Sheila, so if you guys acquire this land, this 1,916 acres, yeah, what are you guys gonna do? You just gonna fence that whole thing and that'll be it, or?
Well, there's fences currently around most of that 1,916 acres. It's all forest strand and barbed wire. The effort for us wouldn't be to do anything new. We would continue to keep those same cattle licenses, the ranch licenses. The portion of the property that's in native forest is at the back of Mokanama, that green portion that's the tops of Pu'upukua. And so the intent would be to go through a management planning process with the ranches, with members of the community and other stakeholders, and with lineal descendants from Hilea to discuss the value of having a fence that protects that forest on Pu'upukua. As we've seen in the forest, one of the things that's profoundly impactful, I think it was something you mentioned, Paveni, when you made a visit, is that there's a disease that's sweeping through our Oia forest, and it's killing every tree that gets infected with this disease. It's caused by a fungus called Ceratocystis. One of the ways that that fungus is spreading so rapidly is through wounding. You can imagine there's a number of ways that that's happening in the forest each day. And so a fence like this is a way of preventing for the short term. We have no idea in the long term. It's something that actually can keep trees alive. But as you had mentioned in the visit, when you get up to an overlook, you're able to see Kaʻū, the pool that's in fence management now. The area of the Kaʻū Forest Reserve to the east, the hilo side of that pool, is very sick. And by sick, I should just say this, it's mostly dead trees at this point. You can see the fence line, even though you're a mile away, and see that there's few trees, if any, to detect in the forest that are dead inside the reserve. So a fence like this could go a long way in protecting our forest. Again, that would be about 350 acres of the 1,900.
We all agree that this land is very fragile and some beautiful lands. My question is, why lease it to the ranchers, 3 ranchers, when cattle is some of the most destructive things there is? I mean, that's kind of, I don't know.
So if we look at the map again, we'll be able to see that about 1,500 acres of the 1,900 acre property had been used for sugar production. So after having been converted from forest into open plain, the most appropriate, maybe the best and highest use, is really to maintain those open fields. Keep the weed pressure low, keep the grasses low. That's seen as being a substantial benefit to the forest in that it reduces the risk of wildland fire when we have our dry seasons. But to your point, the area that's under lease and that will continue to get released is area that has been converted to sugar 100 years ago. So it's not part of the forested area that's in dark green at the center of the map, labeled Papua. That's the area that we would be looking to protect a watershed by building a fence.
And then, is this on both sides of the up road, or is it all on?
Yeah, the road that runs through Cane Hall is right in front of Macanao, so there's a portion that comes down. I'm not going to be able to give you an estimate of acres, but I'd say maybe a third to the 2/3 it's above.
Alright, is there any further questions or discussion regarding the Hilea property permit interaction group at this time? Alright,
Question was just to say from the beginning. Is there any right of way on any of these properties that you guys ought to cut off?
Well, I think the question you're asking, I think best addressed by saying there are 4 government roads that go into the forest from the King Hall Road.
Okay.
None of those four go through this property.
I said, if there's any right of way or access on any of the whole Sebago properties, is there a right of way or access road right now, today?
There are no roads that go into the forest that are public right of ways.
And nobody ever did go through this forest before.
Everybody who's gone to that forest has gone through what we would
They gone
call-
through the forest before. So any of your forest you guys trying to get? People been there before?
It's a 61,000 acre public forest area.
Okay, so people
Everyone
been
who
there
gets to go
before.
there has the same.
You're not answering my question. The question is, did the people go to the forest before?
My answer is yes, they did, and they
Okay.
still do.
Okay, you guys gonna let the people go to the forest? You guys still gonna let the people, or you guys gonna stop the people?
We've run a managed access program since 2008. We will continue that same program into the future. Should we acquire this property, it would be included in that access program to get community members into the forest on both sides of Kaʻū, areas that are otherwise somewhat landlocked because of the private lands between the forest and the King Hall Road.
Okay.
All right, so, yes. Do we need a further motion at this time? No. So we would just ask that, at our next meeting, if you want to provide your presentation, and we can work with you on that, or planning staff perhaps. And we look forward to your presentation.
Thank you, Chair.
All right, have a good day. All right, so moving forward to business item number 2, Edmund C. Olson Trust, number 2, highway project concept, discussion and potential action regarding communications drafted by committee member Ibarra and Morrow, I guess 2 separate communications, referenced by communication numbers 2026-01 and 2026-02. We take public testimony first. Yeah, so at this time we will open public testimony for this item. I have Mary Capone.
Questions.
Yeah.
I'm learning about this project, so could we hear the presentation first and then testify? At the end of the presentation?
We've been going for this in week 6, just July, so I have a presentation at our office.
So there's no presentation?
No, it's been going for this since July.
If you wanted to also, they did the same presentation about 3 times already. If you want to go on YouTube later and rewatch it, you can.
So, do you want to provide a recap of the project very quickly? I heard your voice, so I don't know.
Is John on? Can John do it?
Yeah, is John Cross available perhaps online?
I am here online.
Okay, can everybody hear him? I can hear him.
Can you help save Brenda?
So,
We've been at it
Brenda's
all night.
voice.
so Mr. Cross, maybe if you could provide a synopsis of the proposed project for those that were unable to previously hear.
Okay, we're intending to rezone the land in order to allow for a commercial development of a gas station with full complement of fuels, including EV. So the electric vehicle charging stations, we're hoping to have quick charge stations there. There'll be a convenience store with hot food. There will be a coffee shop for Kaʻū coffee. It's going to entail about 3 acres, and we need to get the land rezoned in order to build the site, because right now it's state land use urban, low density urban on the LUPAG. Low density urban does not allow for the commercial development. So we need to bring it up to the LUPAG to medium density urban, and then change the ag zoning. It's ag 20 now on a strip or a length along Highway 11 to allow for the CV or Commercial Village 10,000 square foot. The project will probably cover no more than about 3 acres, but the rezone will probably cover more like 10. But that, will be vetted, adjusted by the planning director and those at the planning staff on how best to do the rezone. So that we're allowed to build what we would like to do to have a nice community center on the highway and provide services to the public, to provide jobs to the locals. And this was one of the questions that I think Jason and others at our meetings that we had in the past is are you going to employ people from the district? And well, just like Carl has done in the past, and just like Olson Trust has done so at Coffee Mill, yes, those jobs will be open to Kaʻū residents. And our history shows that 80, 90% or more of the employees are right from the District of Kaʻū or in Pahala. And if not Pahala, they might be from Volcano, which is just up the road. So to revamp what we've done, we've come to you several times starting in the fall. Brenda has done a lot of community engagement. We're trying to get community support. We believe we have wide, broad support for this project. And the CDP Action Plan Committee is a critical step in this process, is that we would like you as CDP members to comment favorably on what we're asking for. And that's because the CDP plan, as it was written, called for a change in the LUPAG of the area to intensive agriculture, no development. So that has not been approved by the county council yet, and it will be coming before them. But we would like to ask for a change that would allow for this commercial development to occur on Highway 11. We will start the process with the planning department very soon. We have not started the application for the change of zone or doing all the applications and filings and sending it to the planning commission. We first came to the community, get community support, listen to the community, and respond to their concerns. We are now at the point where we're going to start filling out the forms, submitting them, paying the fees, and starting the process. And we hope that the Action Plan Committee would support our project and make favorable comment. We'll be coming before the county council, or well, first we'll be coming before the planning commission, and then eventually before the county council. And yeah, we're going to have people testify, and we hope that people see this will be a good project and will benefit Kaʻū and the community.
Just to add to that, so sorry for my voice. I have done outreach at the schools, the senior centers, we've done public meetings, and the majority of the people in the community are in support of this project. We came in front of the community planning and action committee to gather support from them if we make any more steps. pulling permits prematurely and having the public find out about things after the permit has been pulled has not been very successful in Kaʻū and disrespectful to our kapuna. So we try to be very robust in going to people instead of just having them wait for us. People come by the office to ask about the project often. Besides the gas station, we also have public restrooms, which is in much need for our community. Ice house for our fishermen. So we feel like this is going to be a good project also for our seniors. We have a path that will go through the monkey pot trees so we can have picnics or just enjoy the scenery. And also a deck area where they can enjoy hot food.
All right, does that answer the question to the public at this time? So I want to clarify, the role of the action committee. So our responsibility is to provide guidance on the community development plan policies. The action committee does not approve, deny, or recommend approval of conceptual projects or land use applications, but we certainly invite them, so that's what they're providing for us in the last few meetings. So as mentioned, the Edmund C. Olson Trust project is still conceptual at this time, so no formal application, as they mentioned, has been submitted yet, but as they mentioned, they would like to move forward with that, and that's why we have heard their presentations at the last several meetings. So also I want to remind action committee members that, as individuals, you may provide testimony to the planning commission once the project is formally reviewed. So that does not need to be a function of the action committee. So I think our potential action is to consider whether we should compile relevant CDP policies into a formal letter to John Cross for use during the future application process. And so we do have two letters, one from Kaveni and another from Babbitt Morrow. So perhaps, would you like to hear those first before any public testimony? So I do not have an order, so it looks like it says members Ibarra. Would you like to provide your, yeah. Do we have that? Are you able to put that online? On the screen, rather?
You need to read that over.
Yeah, let's see if we can do that. Okay.
Okay, so I'll try to read this well. To whom it may concern, the Kaʻū Community Development Plan Action Committee has heard presentations from the Olson Trust on July 22nd, September 23rd, and November 18th, 2025 in the communities of Pahala, Ka'ū, and Ocean View regarding the proposed Pahala Center at TMK 396012, portion, which is classified as part of the John Wu subdivision. The project proposes to develop a coffee shop, convenience store, fuel station, and public restaurants along Hawaii Route 11 near the Komani Street entrance to Pahala. Under the current land use pattern allocation guide, the parcel is classified as low density urban per the County of Hawaii 2005 general plan and is zoned as agriculture A20 per County of Hawaii chapter 25. To allow for this development, the Olson Trust proposes to request a modification of the LUPAG, that's the land use pattern allocation guide, to medium density urban from the Planning Commission for an 8 to 10 acre portion of the parcel and apply for that to be rezoned to village commercial or CB10 through the County of Hawaii. The Olson Trust proposes to use 122,880 square feet or approximately 2.82 acres for the proposed development. The Kaʻū Community Development Plan Action Committee offers the following comments on community input and Kaʻū CDP compliance. So for community input, given the existing settlement pattern of Pahala, its current urban center is designated to the Kaʻū CDP land use policy lacks sufficient infrastructure to support this project. Thus, the Kaʻū CDPAC notes that the project is not aligned with the current CDP land use policy, which designates the area as important agricultural lands. However, multiple community members have identified the proposed project area as a viable place to provide the services proposed by the Olson Trust, with the understanding that the remaining 77 acres of this parcel will remain under land use pattern allocation guide designation of low density urban and the County Board zoning of Ag 20. That retail facilities will utilize local projects, an example, crops from local farmers, etc. The services proposed by the Olson Trust, such as the fuel station, will provide desired services to the residents of Pahala who currently live at least 33 miles away from an accessible fuel station. As such, community input has demonstrated alignment with Section 14.1 of the 2005 General Plan, which is cited in the Kaʻū CDP and states, the urban centers include high, medium, and low density designations. These centers and clusters provide physical, social, governmental, and economic concentrations so that the total activities of the community can be more readily and easily conducted. The future improvement and development objectives are directed toward making urban and rural centers more efficient, livable, and safe. Growth should be encouraged in terms of renewing older areas or extending existing areas. The creation of new urban and rural centers should be initiated only when it is in the public interest and must be accompanied by commitments from both government and the private sector for the development of basic community and public facilities and services. Infrastructure costs less when new residential areas are located near existing highways, water and sewer lines, and employment centers. And for comments on Kaʻū CDP compliance, in accordance with the Kaʻū CDP, the proposed actions will align with the following provisions. Section 1.5.1, Community Objectives, Objective 11 says, increase the number and diversity of income sources for residents, including jobs and entrepreneurial opportunities that complement Kaʻū's ecology, culture, and evolving demographics. Objective 12, which states, establish or expand retail service, dining, and entertainment centers in rural villages and towns capable of supporting Kaʻū appropriate growth. Section 3.4, land use policy, under which policy 2 says, concentrate commercial uses within and surrounding central core areas in Pahala, Na'alehu, and Ocean View, and do not allow strip or spot commercial development outside of the designated urban areas. Section 6.13, community-based collaborative actions, under which Community Action 23 says, coordinate regional strategies to increase buying local. Section 6.3.3, county action, under which Policy 141 says, assist in the promotion of products produced in Kaʻū. And for closing remarks, the Kaʻū CDP supports future requests to alter the current land use pattern allocation guide and rezone the parcel as relevant to propose commitments presented by the Olson Trust for the Pahala Center development and supported by community members for approximately 8 to 10 acre portion of TNK 396012012 Mahalo for your time. The Kaʻū CDP looks forward to seeing our comments taken into consideration and seeing the input from our community in Mahalo.
Thank you, Commander. Should we just move forward to Babette's presentation? Are you ready, Babette?
I am. Mine, unfortunately, is a bit longer than Kabeni's. And I did want to state right at the beginning that I'm not in opposition to this development. I think it's a great development, but what I'm looking at is compliance with our adopted community development plan, and hopefully we can pull all that together. So this is a memo to the Action Committee members that I wrote on January 10th. It says on November 18th, committee member Ibarra provided to the committee members a proposed letter of support for this project. I appreciate the information he provided with a detailed explanation of the project, community input, and the CDP analysis. I feel that it's premature to support the proposed development since application hasn't been made yet to the planning department. We've seen different proposals over the last several months, and I would like to see the final application to know what is actually being submitted. However, I'm willing to provide CDP compliance comments from the action committee to the applicant based on what we know so far. What I've got in the following is my analysis of what the community development plan contains. The first subject is land use policy. This proposed development area is currently designated as important agricultural land in the Kaʻū CDP and low density urban in the county general plan. Apparently, the applicant will be requesting a change to the land use pattern allocation guide, LUPAG, in the general plan to medium density urban for a portion of the site. I would like to see more justification from the applicant for changing this from important ag land as found in the Kaʻū CDP. Policy 7 in section 3.4 of the Kaʻū CDP states, future land use decisions shall be consistent with the land use policy map boundaries, designations, and policies herein, unless the CDP and the general plan are in direct conflict. And policy 15 in that same section proposes county action to amend the general plan LUPAG and, as needed, state land use boundaries to conform with the official Kaʻū CDP land use policy map. The applicant is proposing to change the LUPAG from low density urban to medium density urban, which is taking the general plan further away from the land use policies of the Kaʻū CDP. The land use category closest to the important ag land in the Kaʻū CDP is low density urban. Policy 8 in section 3.4 of the CDP states that changes of zone in the LDU shall only be permitted to single family residential, multifamily residential, residential/commercial mixed use, or open. Apparently, none of these categories would allow the proposed Pahala development unless the application is requesting a higher use category. Policy 2 of section 3.4 advises to concentrate commercial uses within and surrounding central core areas in Pahala and do not allow strip or spot commercial development outside of the designated urban areas. The proposed development is not located in the central core area in Pahala and is adjacent to low density urban. The applicant is requesting a change to medium density urban, but currently the only medium density urban areas in Pahala are located in the current town core at the intersection of Kamani Street and Pikake Street, and at the area around Miley Street and Pikake Street. This would seem to indicate that the proposed development is strip or spot commercial development. Appendix 5 of the Kaʻū CDP includes summaries of the rationale behind each of the CDP policies and advocacy strategies. Table 1 recommends that TMK 396-012-012 be designated important agriculture because connections to town over channel are impractical and the land is planted in coffee. And TMK 396-012-027 be designated important agricultural because connections to town over channel are impractical and LDU areas are outside SLU urban district. Additionally, it recommends that neighborhoods outside historical and existing commercial areas be designated LDU in order to concentrate more intensive development, including commercial, in the center of town next to existing non-residential uses. The applicant should provide justification for not complying with these rationales in the Kaʻū CDP. I agree with Action Committee Member Ibarra that this project supports Section 1.5.1 Community Objectives, Objective 11, increase the number and diversity of income sources for residents, including jobs and entrepreneurial opportunities that complement Kaʻū's ecology, culture, and evolving demographics. And the other topic is preferred settlement patterns. So 3.3 community objectives. Objective 1 is to concentrate new commercial development in compact, walkable, mixed-use town/village centers. This proposed development is not located in the town center. It's on the highway, almost a mile from the existing town center, and is not safely walkable for potential local customers, such as school children in Kupuna. People walking from Pahala to the project would have to walk along the highway from Kamani Street. 3.3 community objectives, objective 2, preserve prime and other viable agricultural lands. I understand that the current proposal is for development of approximately 3 acres of the 77 acres in these 2 TMKs. Although in one meeting they indicated that 8 acres would be part of the application. Apparently the applicant will include a plan to allow the remaining land to remain designated as agricultural. I would like to see this to be clarified. 3.3 community objectives, objective 4, protect, restore, and enhance Kaʻū's unique cultural assets, including archaeological and historic sites and historic buildings. Apparently, there are no identified cultural assets on the site. 3.3 community objectives, objective 12, establish or expand retail service, dining, and entertainment centers in rural villages and towns capable of supporting Kaʻū appropriate growth. This development will expand services in an area currently lacking sufficient service. However, it's not located in the town that it is supposed to serve. The next paragraph has to do with what Jason already mentioned as far as what the responsibilities of the action committee members are, and not to individually decide whether or not we like a project, but to evaluate whether it complies with the goals and policies of the CDP and make recommendations to the planning director and or the planning commission. And I would just like to see that if whatever recommendation we make that is very much supporting what the CDP policies are that were developed over 10 years of many, many meetings with the public to establish these recommendations. And I just feel that it is maybe not in good timing to support the development before the formal application has been made and we see exactly what's being proposed. And that's it.
All right, thank you. So now we'll open it for public testimony. I believe it was Mary Capone. So please come up here and state your name for the record. We have several, so we'll try to keep it to 3 minutes.
Well, I can't cite any of those articles that you're talking about.
So I want to say first that everything that we've talked about, the maps, the letters, all is included on the agenda, which is available online. I don't think they printed out the entire agenda, but everything is available online. And if you have difficulty receiving anything, please contact myself or the planning staff. All right, thank you.
Yes, okay, so I have been a resident of Kaʻū for 30 years. I live up in Wood Valley, which is even further away from the gas stations than Pahala. We definitely need gas closer to this area. And I'm also a chef and a resident chef, and I really feel that we have to address the issue of being in a food desert. we are 50 miles away at least from any decent food sources. I love the idea of having a small market there that has not so much selling non-nutritious prepared packaged foods, but some vegetables and fruits and local places that our ag community can support, so, or can be supported by. Yeah, so I'm all about the support of it. Is it possible, are we considering doing a entrance from Kamani Street as well as from the highway? That will be a solution to not having the kids walk on the highway or having to drive to this particular place. So that was my question.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
If you want to compile any questions and provide any answers later, or John Cross, you don't have to at the end, but if there's many questions.
If you want to answer it now.
No, if you want to compile them, and then once everybody's finished, if you want to answer them, or have John Cross at the end. So, all right, we have, I believe it's Tim Benko.
I'm just gonna second that.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for your comment. All right, we have Carl Kuyama.
Good evening. My name is Carl Okuyama. I'm the president of Ohana Foods Inc. And I've been working with the Ocean Trust on this project for the past over a year. And I'm here to support the project. We run also Mizuno Superette in Kahala. And ever since taking Metso over in 2023, there's been two questions always been asked by our customer. One, when you open a gas station? And the second one, let's get hot food, no more hot food in Bahala. And so the plan is to work with the Ocean Trust in providing both those services. Regarding good food, I'm happy to share with you that our company was voted third place best of East Hawaii in terms of big lunch. So we did really well. And I think in the last meeting we had in Ocean View, I did share our website. It's called Food Order at ohanafoods.com, and I think everybody got hungry. So I look forward to working with this group as well as the community. We've had, I personally put the announcement about today's meeting on our Facebook page, my personal Facebook page. This is the second time, and both times I put it on, I got a lot of good comments. There's only one person I know of that no development in Hawaii, no more. But everybody else was for it, so I'm really pleased. And I'm really proud to be part of this group and part of the community and look forward to serving it. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. All right, we have Guy Enriquez.
Guy Enriquez, I want to start you off, apologize to Brenda. I missed every single one of them. I'm quite busy with a number of things in my life right now that occupies my time, so I've missed a lot. I was hoping to hear something today, and that didn't happen, so I'm going on what I've done some research on today. I just found out yesterday from Elijah that works here that there was something, so that's how far out of touch I am on this particular project. But I did have a chance to speak to a member who did inform me about maybe a month ago, maybe more. So I had an idea, but I didn't know all this stuff was going through. I want to say this. Our family runs a shop down in Honolulu, and we depend on the tourist business. And I can tell you, we have an incredible opportunity. So many tourists that go by our road with dollar signs on them, and we're letting them go. You see Honolulu Bakery, very successful. Our market, Kaʻū OKK, very successful. Right on the highway. That's not illegal. Why not Bahala? I will say this, John Cross meant something about hiring local. You walk into 76 station, what do you see? All your neighbors. 76 station, that's Carl. Ocean Trust hires all our local people. They leave, he hires them back again. They leave, he hires them back again. You're an example, but there's more than that. But they are committed, like I said, I think 80% are all local people. Now, you stated all the ones I circled, so I'm in agreement with a lot of it, but I want to read one more. How does it says 1.12, how did the Kaʻū CDP strengthen Kaʻū? 3 things. 1, protect the public trust. 2, provide facilities for services. And 3, and this is where I think you come in, they grow local businesses that provide goods and services and jobs. Now, in 2008, I was the councilman for this district, and that's when the CDP started. We were the last to get CDP going in the Big Island. And it took almost 10 years to get it done. I think it was 17 before it got done. But in that 9-year process, the longest in any single one, what this is awesome. This is the voice of Kaʻū. Everything I read in here is really tells a good story because they did a good job. It took 10 years. So I gotta believe that they named in this thing 6 things, the priority things that came out of all of this. Number 1 was economics, jobs. 3rd thing here is your job is to help grow the business, and what a great opportunity. Now we talked about 77 acres. I think I'm just trying to write down notes.
87 is the total.
Yes, and you're only going to use 3 of ag land. Now the only place I can find conflict is that it doesn't fit the blueprint, right? It needs a different zoning. I would ask that you support this because they're going to need that to get that zoning. But to sacrifice 3 acres of farmland to get the kind of money you can generate that for the local people and the residents of Kaʻū, any money dropped in Kaʻū is the benefit of us. And I will tell you again, with the volcanoes squirting around, black sand beach, the green sand beach, our resources are abundant, but we have to control it. Now what I see is Kaʻū, as Babette might have mentioned, you know, to me, I don't think the Pahala people are going to walk to that station. I'm afraid they're going to use their ATV to go over there, but they'll find a way to get there because the resources that they will provide is going to be generally good. Food, hot food, gas, and it's right there in the town. And it's going to serve the townspeople of Kaʻū and all of the people of Kaʻū. Huge resource. And it doesn't conflict with all of the other stuff, the cultural stuff, the historical stuff, the viewpoints, and all that other stuff that's listed in here that really I don't see a huge issue. But again, I haven't put the kind of time in, but the time I spent today going through this, and I've gone through this because of Punalulu. So I kind of know this. I just had to refresh myself, and this is why it was easy to touch base when he wrote all his numbers down, and so did Babette. I could just cross out what I don't have to say again. But I would highly recommend, because everybody that I've talked to see the benefit. And your job is to grow local businesses. But like you said, I think if you write a letter of support, that's all they might need to get through to get that zoning. But the benefits are huge. And if we don't do it, somebody else might, someplace else. But Pahala needs it and can use it. For 3 acres of ag land, it's not unreasonable by any means. One of the things, the number 1 thing is jobs, like I said. But I know also it states in there that the people of Kaʻū are not willing to sacrifice our lifestyle for the sake of economy, as stated right in there. But I will tell you, in this particular event, I think they'll support it by a huge majority. From everything that I've talked to, at least in a little bit, I just don't see it. But I'd like to support the project, and I hope, I'd encourage you guys to really consider the benefits of this. And all you gotta do is just say, hey, I think there's some really good benefits. And like I said, the job hiring, the local people, dropping on the finance of the tourism driving by, all huge benefits. Thank you.
Thank you. So, do we have any other public testimony at this time? Do we have any Zoom testifiers at this time? All right, seeing none, does anyone wish to make a motion on this item at this time?
Should we give them a time to answer the question?
Oh, yeah, did you have any statements or answers you want to provide?
So, after this meeting, I will be in the back of the room. I have maps, and you guys can come back. For people that don't know nothing about the presentation, I'm so sorry for my voice. But I do have this map of the Valhalla town that shows those 87 acres. They was going to be fully maximized with residential development back in the day. We're using the same entrance that they proposed back in the day to have these hundreds of homes that will no longer happen. We're using that same proposed entrance, and if you drive by 0.6 of a mile from the entrance of Valhalla going toward Volcano, I've put some blue tape around the approximate location of the entrance, because some people want to visualize it. When you talk to a map, even with me, it's just like, where's that? Which monkey paw tree is that by? So if you're driving by, you can kind of visualize it. But the question about having it meander through the town, the back of the town, or walking trail through these 87 acres to get to the Valhalla station. Maybe somewhere down the line we can get a committee together to do it, but it's not an easy ask. There's washouts, there's gulches, there's a lot of dangerous things on this property. Flooding, if people know I work for academic companies, they understand what kind of flooding we're talking about. Maybe down the line, it's not something we can commit to today. It would cause more safety issues than it would be for convenience. So we need to make sure we don't have this attractive nuisance for our teenagers, to include my own, knowing about some road in 87 acres that they can wander down to get to a place. So nothing's an absolute, but at this moment, we will never do safety versus convenience. So the access will be the highway, pretty much better than driving all the way to Maui or volcanoes. So. But I will be in the back of the room. Please come and see me. And if you have any questions, I have the presentation with me printed out. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Kennedy, do you have a motion?
Yes, just to clarify, I can make a motion and then we discuss it.
Yeah, I mean, you could make a motion for us to discuss this item. Or a motion to discuss.
I'll make a motion that we finalize this draft and send it on. And if somebody wants to second it, then we can have a discussion about it. Is that how it works?
Send this to John.
Maybe we'll have a motion for general discussion.
I'll make a motion. I'll withdraw that motion. I'll make a motion for us to discuss both of these.
Both of them?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So do we have a second?
A second.
All right, we have a second from Kathy. So, so this item is now open for discussion. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
Jason,
Yes, come back.
I kind of have a question and maybe a suggestion. That I kind of see this as being two different stages, and perhaps the first stage is considering, I think that what they're talking about is changing the land use plan map in the general plan as well as changes to the proposed zoning, and then if that is approved, then the development, the details of the development would be something separate, and maybe what we could focus on just today is the action committee is, do we want to support the changes to the LUPAG or whatever that is being proposed?
Yeah, so I wasn't clear myself actually now, is, because we have business item number 4, analysis of Kaʻū CDP land use maps and discussion and review and proposed changes. So I was thinking that, you know, obviously we could discuss it now, but if that's the way the action committee wanted to proceed, that we would speak specifically about land use changes during business item number 4. If anybody wants to state on the record that they're for that, then we can talk about it then, or I guess we could talk about it now. But I was thinking, so at this point, you know, so we've seen, hopefully everybody, all the committee members have seen both of the submittals from both yourself and committee, and so, you know, so just my understanding, and I don't think I'm alone, but that, you know, our responsibility is to provide guidance on policy, but not to approve or deny or recommend approval of conceptual plans. So, you know, if some members wanted to state on the record that they're in favor of proceeding with the proposal, I think that would be different than us providing, you know, a recommendation in approval of a proposal, you know, because it's not an application at this time. So, and we want to encourage people, as the Olson Trust did, to come here both before our committee and before the community, so that, you know, once it is submitted, the Kaʻū isn't blindsided, and, you know, as Uncle David mentioned before, you know, Kaʻū people want to know what's happening in Kaʻū, what's being proposed in Kaʻū, and I think you know, that the Olson Trust has done a great job of providing a conceptual plan of what they want to do, and obviously they want to get our support as much as possible, but I don't think this business item would be the appropriate time to discuss changing the land use map, since we have that as business item number 4. Does that make sense?
Yes, I agree. Oh, we're not doing it first. I mean, we're gonna do it anyways on the agenda, as item number 4.
I'm not on item number 4.
So business, business item number 4 is an analysis of the Kaʻū Community Development Plan land use maps, and a discussion of potential action to review and propose changes to the Kaʻū Community Development Plan land use maps. So, as part of this project, my understanding is that that would need to be changed to align with the LUPAG, or there's a few different things going on at different levels of government. Is that correct, Miriam?
Isn't that the county's job?
But so we would, because we're the CDP, we would say that we, you know, are in support of the proposed change.
I would say let's just approve the plan and let the county deal with the changes, and the community's need is the justification for this.
So we have Miriam Palmer here from the county planning staff.
Okay, so there's a few things going on right now. So with this agenda item number 2, if we go back to what is being asked from Olson Trust was, I believe they're basically looking for a type of letter of support, because they're going to have to go through many stages, right? They're going to have to go through a rezoning and all these other things. They're going to go through the planning department and through the planning commission and eventually to county council. Right? So they haven't submitted an application yet to the planning department. This is still conceptual. And you're right, the AC doesn't approve or deny applications, especially non-existent ones. But what normally happens here is, because the AC's founding document is the Community Development Plan, usually developers and other interested parties come to the committees looking for feedback and using this as an opportunity to also get feedback from the community as well, right? That's why it's a public hearing. And an outcome of that is that the committee can be drafting letters, like you guys did, the 2 letters you guys have right now for this item. And these letters aren't approval or denial letters or anything like that, but they are more so letters that are rooted in your community development plan document that show the project's consistency, the project as describes consistencies and inconsistencies. That's an option. And so to think of these letters in that mindset, that this is, you're just representing the CDP document, and you're saying, here's where the project as described isn't aligned with the CDP document, and here's where it's not. And these are the pieces missing. It's not, we love this project because you're gonna have ice, you know, like, unless the CDP specifically has a sentence in there that says we want more ice in Kaʻū, I'm pretty sure it doesn't, then it's not really to say that, right? These are other, those are, that kind of feedback is more so to be taken into consideration by the Planning Commission or County Council. Your guys' job is very focused on the CDP document. And so I think between the 2 letters, you guys actually have a lot of rationale that's rooted in the document. And so my suggestion is that for this action item, it's to kind of make a version of the letter that you're okay with the committee voting on. And you don't have to vote on, or you don't have to agree with it. You can vote no, always, right? Just like previous letters that we've done. So it's I would recommend you guys have the 2 letters, see what kind of direction you want to go with the 2 letters. Maybe you want to make even a hybrid of the 2 of them, or what have you. That's for the committee to decide. Now, where this gets a little confusing to agenda item number 4, which is the analysis of the CDP land use maps in your Kaʻū document, this agenda came to be because of this conversation, because this development project is going to need to have a rezone. That's one of the pieces in your letter, is that it is in conflict with your land use maps. Any change to your land use maps would have to go through Planning Commission, through Council, and eventually Mayor, because it is ordinance. So, but another thing you can do, and so it's like 2 separate ideas, but they're very related because the changing the maps and this development project, because something that Olson asked for earlier in the previous meeting was a letter of support to amend the general plan with the current draft that is going before County Council right now. And even and so then you guys could take that a step further and say, oh, well, also the Kaʻū CDP map should reflect this change. This change doesn't need to happen in the CDP in order for this project to get approved. It's just helpful. But it's a very painstaking process, and so an alternative is that you guys have this letter of support addressing the inconsistencies and still giving an overall summary of the balance that the committee felt was received, your guys' intention with this. So 2 separate items that kind of got mixed up because they got brought up by the development project, but yeah. Is that helpful?
Yeah, I thought it was very helpful. Does anybody have any questions for Miriam while we have her?
So the project can't move forward without the zoning change?
Correct.
Correct. Because I believe it's zoned ag right now.
Yeah.
So, and to put a gas station.
Yeah, the uses that they're potentially proposing are not allowed in the existing zoning or low density urban. So it would have to be medium density.
So the zoning changes, is it for 3 acres or?
So I think that's part of Babette's concern, she stated, was that you know, until we see like what the formal application is for, we don't really know. You know, I think some of us might not be as concerned with 3 acres and might even be okay with 8 or 10 acres. But if it's 88 acres, I think most of us might be concerned with that. So I don't want to speak for others. So I think that's why, you know, we appreciate the applicant coming in, or the proposed applicant coming in so that we can see what they want to do there, so that the community can receive feedback, so we can see how it complies or doesn't comply with the community development plan. But I don't, as the chairperson, based on, you know, our previous chairpersons, I'm trying to be consistent with their actions. So I think that, you know, we've done a great job of hearing what they're proposing, but I don't feel that it's necessary for us to provide kind of a preliminary letter of support when we don't exactly know what we're supporting. So if we wanted to provide a letter saying we're in support of the conceptual plan and we look forward to further working with the applicant and something to that effect, I think that's different than saying, you know, whatever you guys want to do, Kaʻū needs stuff and we're in support of more stuff. You know?
It's gotta happen.
So,
you gotta get something.
Right, so I think that's what the, you know, if we want to have, we don't have to have any discussion, we've talked about this in several meetings already. But, you know, how you all wish to proceed, you know. So for me, I think, you know, moving forward to a discussion of proposed CDP land use map changes would be the next step. I don't know that we need to approve or deny any of the letters that Cavani or Babette wrote. I think Miriam's idea that maybe taking a little bit of both. You know, obviously Kaʻū, since I was born here many years ago, has always needed some kind of economic development, and that hasn't changed much. It's probably gotten worse. But, you know, I think finding that balance between maintaining the identity of Kaʻū and also providing, you know, economic and entrepreneurial opportunities, you know, is very much part of our job. So anybody have any discussion, questions for the applicant, or anything at this time? Yes, Kathy.
I just wanted to, I want to encourage the applicants to apply, to do the application and clarify the things that have come up as far as making sure that we know why you're using that, what portion of land you're using, what that's going to look like. And I know that you guys have done it, it just doesn't seem like it's been clear for the panel. We're not sure about what numbers we're looking at, whether it's 8 acres or 3 acres or 10 acres. And then the other thing was just be really clear about how you're going to address the concerns from the community and the council on the safety issue of how to get people to that safely. Maybe that's working with the county. Maybe that's all that is to work in cooperation with the county to get that sidewalk in or some kind of safe transportation so that it's clear to us how that's going to happen. And as far as a letter, both of the letters say sort of the same thing, but it's the cart before the horse. So I think waiting, I think that we want to support the project. I think the community supports the project. I support the project. I want to be able to get gas in Kaʻū, okay? Guilty. But we need to know the exact proposal and then whether or not we approve it. And I think looking at item number 4 of reviewing and proposing changes to our CDP land map would be the first step for this board, to look at that and say, are we willing to change that strip and maybe walk through that process.
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
I just heard something before, we're gonna catch 22 here. Come on for us, let us know what you're gonna do before you do the permits. We obviously, November 12th, we spent a lot of time on this document, going over each and every article, the important ag lands, even designation, who designated them important ag lands. They're not very viable ag lands, they're only good because we put water down there for the coffee to flourish. But this is a good document to reference. But also, we can't tell you exactly what's going to happen. We have to go to the planning department. We have to go through all of these different places. So in this, it says 8 to 10 acres because talking to the planning department says don't do a pocket. Don't do just 3 acres over here. Do a quarter. So this is the best we can do now. And I think we're asking for a letter of support that says, hey, they did come to the community. They did their outreach. They came in front of us many times. They made themselves available. The conceptual process that they brought in front of us is a good one. And we support it, and we look forward to seeing what the other planning department and all of the other things that we have to do thinks about this project, because at the end of the day, county makes decisions on whether they're going to change the zone or change the general plan. But it's a vital time for us right now because we want to go in for the general plan before they sign off on a new general plan, and then we have another hurdle to jump. So we have been working with Michelle Glenn, she is going to bring it up. But all we're really asking for is that, hey, they seem like they're doing a good project. We support it. We look forward to seeing what the planning division and other divisions say about this project. But that they tell us whether it be 8 acres or 10 acres, it's not going to be more than that. But it'll be a window they have suggested for that. So. Thank you.
Yeah, I think if any kind of change is got to be made, that's up to the plan. It should be done. We shouldn't be wasting our time going back and forth on this. It should be a plan. They don't want to come to make a decision, not us. So the communities are supporting this thing from the get-go. I remember that. I heard all the communities. I said with Pahal, I said with Oceanville, and over here. And I say it on a daily basis. So yeah, we just give it up to the planner. I think it's their job. It's their job to do it. You know what I mean? Not us.
Did you want to go first?
Don't we need to make a motion to recommend making the zoning changes to allow for that?
Yeah, so we don't do zoning, it would just be, so that's what I was trying to get there.
That's all we're after, and that seems to be the first step.
Yeah,
That's the plan.
We're just making recommendation to support. We can't, I know we can't make the changes ourselves.
Right.
We're in support of the zone change.
Yeah.
And that's all we need to do, is make a motion.
So I think,
So I say that's the plan.
so I think that's exactly what we're talking about is, are we making a zone change for the entire parcel, which is 88 acres? Are we making?
Whatever the plan says, whatever they say. They say 10 acres, but we got to go with the 10 acres. They thought 3.5 acres, we deal with the 3.5 acres.
If I can add to it.
Because that's what we're going to be talking about for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Let it go to the planning will come back to us. Here we are, this is it. We're going to do the 3.5 acres, we're going to do 10 acres.
Come in.
Okay, just to add to that, that's why I wrote this the way that I wrote it, because I referenced all their documents, and maybe I'm putting too much faith in the guys that's going to review this to do their due diligence like you guys did, but that's why I put 8 to 10 acre portion language, like they're going to use somewhere like the 2.83 acre parcel or portion for the development. To be real specific about what they presented to us, that way when the department is reviewing that and looking at their zoning and the application and what we said, that it all aligns. And if it doesn't, I would hope that they would see that. But that's why I wrote the letter the way that I did. Just wanted to say that for you.
Mary, I have a question for you. So if we do, as you were suggesting, maybe put the letters together. Who are we addressing this to? Is it to who is this getting addressed to?
This letter would be addressed to Olson Trust. Unless they're asking for something.
Because there's no application.
Because
so it
there's
wouldn't
no
be in the
application.
Right, okay, that's what I want to say. So basically, we can say, we've done our due diligence as finding out what is in compliance, what isn't. We like the project, but we are not able to do any zoning changes. And that's just factual, right? But we do, right? We do a lot, like the project, but we're not able to do any type of zoning.
So also take that to that.
And it can make a little wish list, right? That's kind of the idea of it. And so then that's a letter that they will continue to present
To you.
to the different agencies, and then they'll see
And they
those
can
notes
use that as
also.
referrals, yeah. So
I mean,
it's
Ben's
just an impact statement.
letters checked all the boxes because he referenced specific things. So that's what we're asking. We're not asking you guys to say, hey, change the zoners. If you like and think this project is good, we bring it to the planning department and they say, okay, they think it's good. Can we change the zoning? They'll make that decision. So we're really asking that for you. But I think
So our duties as a CDP committee is to come up to make sure that things are in or not in compliance according to what is already written. And we've already done that, basically. So we would just put that together with, I feel that most of us are in support of the actual project itself, I think. But there are, that zoning portion, we don't have control over. And I think we can, enough, that's impact statement, right? I mean, yes, that's all we can do at this point, as our duties allow us to do. And then give that letter to you folks so that you can take that to your planning people when it comes to that.
That seems good to me, guys.
How does that sound? I mean, are we?
Having the letters put together.
Inclusive of what our findings have been, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's our job.
We have
That's our
concerns,
job.
we'll tell you the concerns.
And in favor.
Stuff, we'll let you know.
Yeah, right?
What do you think, Committee?
Okay, so are you guys proposing we just do the letters the way they are and submit it? As a, whatever?
No, there's.
Or are you guys asking
More
for
like
a line?
a
Okay, so I have a question about the process for that. Where's the, okay.
There.
Yeah.
I think she's like.
From the board to them, from them to the plan.
Well,
What was your question?
Okay, so,
why don't we just send it to?
well, I guess that's up to us, but if we were to do a draft and put the two together, do we just communicate with each other, because we don't even.
Yeah, so in the past, Miriam's written letters and I helped her with, whatever. So you and Babette. So you and Babette could work on it and figure out how you guys want to word that. And then that could be brought back and it can just be a short discussion and a vote. We don't have to go through the whole process.
That's fine with me.
Okay, so, I think the main thing for me is it doesn't comply with maybe the urban center, which results in my main concern, which, we're all teenagers at one point. If there's a store up the street, you gotta walk a mile to go there. You're gonna walk a mile to go there. We used to walk from Wild Healing, but not legal on the highway, right? And that's a lot farther than a mile. So, that's my only concern. And if there's a way that the county or the applicant or whomever can resolve that, that's my main concern. Because there's going to be high school kids on the highway.
Yeah, and I think that's something we can also leave in a letter, that's important.
Right, that's right.
And then, but when they do the traffic study,
They can figure out.
all these other steps we gotta go through. And if it's not, the community can come up to them.
So, like in South Kona, they put they're almost like parking lot bumps on the side of the highway. So that people can walk on the side of the highway. And yeah, obviously you could run over that and kill somebody, but you have to really damage your car first. You don't just veer off the road and wipe someone out and keep driving.
Could we put together an editing group
So in order to comply, yeah.
Well, if it's 3 or more, we
Yeah,
leave
so
it
the
as
two will
that.
do it together.
Okay.
Because if there's only 2, we don't have
That's-
to.
Ross, is Babette on board?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so but that, would you be willing and interested and or willing to, have you heard what we were saying so far? That
I
for
can
you
hear you.
or
I can hear you. I'm having trouble hearing Kaveni, but I think the discussion is that he and I would work together on drafting a letter to combine all the comments and bring it back
yeah,
for the.
if you do or you want to, I mean, they're both your letters, so if the two of you can come to an agreement in what, you know, one unified letter would look like and produce that, then we can bring it back at a future meeting.
There's also somebody on the Zoom who's been writing on the chat and was wondering if she could speak, and I don't know how that works because she's on
We
Zoom, but she.
close the testimony.
We're pretty much done.
We could open it back up if it's just specifically regarding this item. So who is it? I can't see that for.
It's there, Mel.
Yeah, how's it? This is Mel. Sorry to jump in, but I just wanted to make a point about the.
I'm sorry. Could you state your name for the record?
Oh, sorry, Mel Yokoyama. So long time Kaʻū and Paul Elementary High School. My parents still live there. Sisters, big family. But the only point I was going to make is what I recommend is that the CDP Action Committee is looking at the CDP plan, and if it doesn't allow for rezoning, but the community wants the rezoning, I'll submit 2 letters to the planning committee saying, first letter, hey, here's the community's voting, and they want this, talking about the gas station. But and then the second letter, according to the CDP, it requires a rezoning. And then you submit that to the planning committee and let them decide.
Yeah, I mean, so I was thinking.
That's what we were saying from the beginning, actually.
So I was thinking.
Get something together, give it to the plan and let them figure it out.
So similar to what Uncle Gary had done for the Waihewa transfer station, which I want to have a follow-up item on that regard, is that he gotten a petition saying community wants the transfer station to be open at least 1 extra day. So if you had these meetings, hopefully there's some kind of written documentation, or you can create that. So that it's like, here's members, particularly Pahala. I mean, obviously this would serve, most or all of Kaʻū, but I think it would be to your advantage to show, like, here's people from Pahala that are willing to put their name and address on a piece of paper saying they're in support of this, right? So, you don't have to, it's not a legal requirement, but it's.
I've got the community support, but you guys don't have to get involved in that.
Okay, as long as you have,
We're just wanting you guys to support, that's all.
Yeah, so.
That's what you guys said, like 4 or 5 months ago. You guys are looking for a community support, and you already have it.
So do we need
Provide
any
support,
further,
you got it.
so do we need any further discussion on this, or it sounds like maybe we need a new motion? So I'll have a new motion that Kaveni Barra and Babette Morrow will work together to combine or otherwise create a document to be brought back to a future meeting, and we can vote on it at that time, and we will put our trust in the 2 of you to provide that. Do I have a second?
Second.
Alright, so Gary gives a second. Do we need a roll call vote for this? Is there anybody in opposition? Alright, so seeing none, we will move forward with the next agenda item. So to recap, Kaveni and Babette will provide a letter, and it will be brought back at a future meeting. Alright, so moving forward to business item number 3, the Kaʻū Road Bishop Estate property status, discussion and potential action regarding grading and grubbing activities conducted on a large property along Kaʻū Road. Thank you, Carl. Is there any public testimony? Ryan, would you like to speak first? I don't know. Alright, so we have Ryan Schultz.
Yeah, Ryan Schultz, 3rd generation rancher from South Wayne. So as a VC of the parcel, I know there's some concerns about grubbing. So far, we have not grubbed county guidelines over an acre. We have applied for a grubbing permit. The land is zoned agriculture. We intend to keep it in ag. It is historically old ranch land. It has been covered with invasive Christmas berry. Our intent is to clear the Christmas berry, turn it into productive pasture for a sustainable food source for local people.
All right, does anybody have any questions for Mr. Schultz at this time?
Nope.
Where is that land?
Is this land the Makai or Maka side of the road? Makai side.
You guys got a new gate over there? You guys put in a new gate?
Yeah.
Yeah, that fence been fenced for years, way before everyone. So they're just cleaning up the fence. That's all.
So it was just to make a perimeter fencing initially, is that what happened?
Yeah, so we just put a blade down, one blade length. The whole thing is with an old ranch stone wall, so we just did a blade length to do the perimeter fence. And then since then, we have been waiting to get our grubbing permit, which we have applied for. And yeah.
How many acres is that?
It's just 1,034.
It goes down.
Oh, they're right to get covered.
Can I make a comment along with that information?
Do we need to have a motion to open this for discussion first? Yeah, so I'll have a motion that we open this for discussion. Do we have a second?
A second.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, yes.
So, let's see, Kent. I just wanted to add that there has been documentation for their project that was submitted to the NRCS. They do have a conservation plan, and it has been approved. The archaeological and ecological plans have been cleared through NRCS, and the letter has gone out to the leasee, who has delivered it to the landowner, which is Bishop Estate. Ryan is our manager for that particular parcel, and it is on public agenda for the Kaʻū Soil and Water for approval on February 20th. So they are in compliance and for what they need to do, and that's, I just need to verify that to the community.
They're doing the job.
Okay, thank you, Anthony. Is there any other questions or comments at this time? No?
Is this then?
Mr. Schultz, do you have anything further to provide? So, well, we thank you for coming here. I know there was some concern about what was taking place and some confusion up there. So, we look forward to you continuing your work with appropriate agencies, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jim.
Alright, so the time is now 6:54 p.m. We will move forward with analysis of Kaʻū Development Plan land use maps, discussion of potential action to review and propose changes to the Kaʻū CDP land use maps. Does anyone wish to make a motion on this item?
You need to take testimony first?
So, well, I don't have anybody that said they want to provide testimony. So we could have a motion.
I'll make a motion for us to discuss this item.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
No second.
All right, we have a second. Committee, would you like to initiate the discussion?
I wanted to hand it to you because
Okay. So, I think the way I see this is that the reason this was brought up, I believe it was from the last meeting, was that, in order for the applicant to move forward, I guess there's already, my understanding, there's already some inconsistencies between the CDP land use maps and the proposed general plan amendment. I believe that's correct. And so I think the general plan was actually supposed to change to reflect the CDP, not the opposite, but now we're considering changing the CDP and also perhaps the general plan to reflect the requirements of the potentially proposed application in Baja. So that's why this was on the agenda. So it was in our packet, I believe, and it's also on it looks like 3 and 44 of the CDP. So in the community development plans, figure 3, it shows that the Valhalla Highway Center, whatever you want to call it, is currently important ag lands, and then further south along Highway 11 is low-density urban, and so my understanding is the applicant is hoping to change a portion of that. So I have a question, Mary. Can you have a portion of a property changed, or does it have to be the whole property?
Say that again?
So currently, I think that must be the 88 acres is shown as important ag lands in the land use policy map in the CDP. So can they, if they only want to develop, 3 to 10 acres, can only that 3 to 10 acres designation be changed, or do they have to change the designation of the whole parcel?
No, it can be sections of the parcel.
Okay.
Is that where, CDP can do 15 acres or less?
Well, that's
Because it's-
different.
Yeah, the CDP Action Committee can recommend for 15, what is that, one is 15 acres or less, and then one is, I'm getting it, there's so much information up there, but there's one section that states that if it's 15 acres or less, that we can make suggestions on that. County.
Yeah,
Because-
anything, so if it's, that's going off of the state land use, right? So
Yes.
anything under 15 acres is county's
County.
jurisdiction.
Yes, and if it's over 15 acres,
Then
then
it
it
goes
has
to
to
the state.
remain in the state.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then that's the land use commission.
And is that how that falls into where they can change, like only 3 to 10 acres?
That's
Or is it
separate. That's just kind of, yeah. Because they can have that, yeah, so then they wouldn't have to subdivide or anything, it's just saying this parcel, and so the same goes for a permit, right? So if you're wanting a special permit for some, you can only, even looking at your house, it's like, oh, just this bedroom of the house is gonna be where that permit area covers, or this section of the property. The same for the rezoning.
And is it in council, the general plan with council now for February?
It is, so my understanding is that, so they went maybe around halfway through or a little bit more of the draft plan back in November, and then they took a break, and they're allegedly, I think it's scheduled for like later February, that they're gonna bring it back and kind of finish going through it.
So what is our job here, our purpose? To review this maps?
So normally what the ACs have been doing throughout this whole general plan update process is reviewing the document, the narrative, the maps, and giving feedback on those maps. Because I believe planning, when they first did it, I wasn't here for it, they took the CDP maps and updated the general plan maps to reflect what the CDPs are already, right? So your guys' maps are one of the latest maps, and so they weren't around in 2005 when the last general plan was, so there was to update those maps with the general plan land use map. But even within that, there's still some discrepancies. So what some of the action committees have been doing is looking at their CDP maps, and not every committee has as detailed of maps like you guys do. But they've been looking at it and looking at the general plan maps and seeing any like alignment or inconsistencies of what the community or the CDP document.
So that's kind of comparing it with the general plan?
With the general plan. And so because general plan is like kind of essentially like up for amendments, is to like kind of piece in. So you'll have landowners, you'll have committees kind of giving their feedback, on different parcels, and like, no, this should be open, no, this should be residential. And to keep in mind that the general plan map is also completely separate from zoning. right? Zoning is what you are currently today allowed to do with your land, that's that layer. The general plan land use map and the CDP land use map are recommendations for future growth. So this is like where we would want the hotel to be, or where we would want more houses to be, where we would want a gas station to be, like in most, like bringing it to today. It doesn't mean that they are allowed to do it there yet because the zoning isn't there, or it doesn't, or that like just because it is there yet that they can do it, you know. So they all work kind of hand in hand through the application process, and that's what Planning Commission and Council use to kind of guide their decisions on whether we want to put a hotel on, you know, like something crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then, so the maps that we have, the information we have is county.
Yes, so this, and this is, yeah, so then you're right, so then another layer, so there's county zoning, general plan, CDP, and then another layer is state land use.
Okay,
So
but
it's
these
really-
are county.
And there should be some alignment, but anything that is urban is county.
County, okay.
And anything Ag 15 and under is county. And so there might be some, you know, or like if it's state land use conservation, we usually reflect that because we can't touch it anyways.
Okay,
So
thank you for that.
is this like a suggestion to cross-check and double-check?
I think that's what happened. I think we kind of we went through and did a little overview of land use, and the idea was like, well, maybe we want to look at our maps and make sure it's okay. You guys do have the latest maps and greatest maps so far, so, but because you guys just did this, it's been a minute, so maybe there are some changes, but, you know, this is to look at your maps and to look at what the drafted general plan map looks like and make sure that there's nothing that stands out to you as like, oh, actually, we were talking about wanting to put a park right there.
I have one more question. Are the hearings, have they started again for the general plan, or is there a second thing? Because I know they, the 20th of this one?
That's what we just.
Oh, okay. Because I know they were doing it last
They're
year.
redoing it in February.
Okay.
Yeah, so it should be, but, you know, until they agendize it, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And then they agendize it the same as us with Sunshine, so 6 days in advance, but hopefully your council member kind of is in.
She mentioned something in it, her newsletter.
Yeah. And my understanding is Ashley Kirkwood is actually like kind of leading this conversation on she's chair of that committee that it's at right now, because it's at one of the subcommittees. And so she's chair of that, so that's kind of the guide of it, but.
And I was asking that because, well, I haven't really looked at the maps yet. If we were to look at it and come back at the next meeting.
You have time. I would say you have time.
And the general plan maps, I know
We can send out a link. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that way, I mean, I know I've got one, but I don't know if everybody else does.
Yes, yeah, so we can share out that link. We use this website called Conveyo, and it's kind of like an interactive website. There's a lot of buttons and gadgets on it, so if you ever need help with it, just call us. Because it shows, like, it'll show you even that has the option to see the changes from the 2005 version to the current version, and you can toggle on different layers, proposed roadways, things like that. So we'll send out the link and some general instructions, and if you guys have any questions, you just reach out.
And then this one's probably outdated again.
That's the one, and that is probably outdated. No, it wasn't like major changes,
but it was a lot of
Because yes.
we can we'll send you the most recent one and things like that.
Yeah, because that one came in and then it went.
And if council does any major changes, it has to go back to the planning commission. So that's why I say it. Like this is.
Yeah, and that's why it's,
unfortunately being done.
Okay, and thank you for all those questions and
Absolutely.
clarifications, because I know others don't. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so if you can, send us that, and then so can we keep the motion.
So my question is about the land use map. So let's say if we did change, or recommend, changing or whatever, like, would this have any, create any kind of precedence in the future to do, something similar in other parts of code? I guess that's been part of my concern. Is that, because I mean, essentially this is like a strip mall on the highway, so what's to say like, oh, well, we want to do the same thing on another part of the highway, so.
They'll go to the action committee, and they'll change it for us.
But we couldn't, right. It's like, but we don't want to change it there, but why'd you change it in Pahala? Like, oh, well, Pahala didn't have a gas station. It's like, well, I live in Kaʻū, there's no gas station there, can we put one there? Like,
Yeah,
is there any-
and that's,
Yeah,
I
what
think
kind of worms are we opening?
that's the thing. So I would say in general, the sense is yes. Because not only other committees have already recommended proposed amendments to subdivision code and zoning code and even at the state ledge kind of things. And while because you guys aren't the decision-making body, like you kind of have that protection that like, and the other protection is that you guys are just speaking from your document. And you're acknowledging inconsistencies, but literally probably any project you propose will have both. From the CDP in the general plan, it'll fight, right? Economic development and then cultural preservation, right? Like you're gonna get both sides of it for any project. And so just acknowledging those differences or those policies that stand out, that are relevant to the project, whether pro or con, is an important step to have done at this level. That way, when it gets to the decision maker's table, then planning commission or council can weigh in that, right? You guys propose, for example, if today you saw the land use maps and you're like, you know what, we think it should be industrial over there on that section of the highway to help Olsen guys or commercial or whatever it is. Because we really want that gas station. You guys vote on it, one, obviously doesn't mean it's gonna happen. And two, this is basically the work that was done to create the CDPs, right? Like these maps came from the community meetings and were adapted from that, and people were saying, hey, I want my property to do this, I want to put it on, I want multifamily. And so then, and we kind of guided, and the consultants and you guys all kind of created these maps. And so what we want is we want the committees to be constantly reevaluating the documents and updating it. We want it to come from the community and with the committee, and not to come from somebody who's never been to Kaʻū and be like, yeah, I think we need a gas station here. Because I just got property there, so that works out great for me, you know, like, and then they tinker with the maps that way. We want the tinkering of the maps to happen at this level. So, like, and if you're doing a good job of an overview of saying consistencies and inconsistencies and providing that rationale, then it's a little harder to just cookie cutter it for every project that comes around, right? So acknowledging maybe the walkway concerns, but also weighing out the need for fuel or whatever.
Can we have maps that are a living document that kind of goes with the needs of the people? You know, we have changes, we have to change all the time.
Well, I think that's the idea, is that we don't change all the time, right? So the CDP was created based on, wait, hold on. So what people think.
Community's going to change.
Right, so.
Years, we may not see it.
Right, so the CDP was created based on, you know, almost 10 years of the community figuring it out.
These maps are becoming obstacles.
And then, you know, the general plan is in a very long process of becoming changed, right? And so we always want consistency between the maps. And so I think let me finish it. Please stop interrupting. So I think that, you know, what she just said is that we do want to review them if there's a need for a change. But we don't want to make it so that, you know, somebody else is coming in and, the map doesn't meet what they want, so let's change the map. It's like, well, no, the map's supposed to guide where things occur, you know. So if what you want to do doesn't meet the map, well, then you need to change either your location or your proposal.
What about the desires of the community and the people?
Well, that's what the CDP is, right? And so that's why, like she said, it is something we look at if there's a need for a change, but it's quite a process, right? So it's not something that, you know, and from a business business standpoint, I can appreciate what you're saying. It would be helpful if it was easier to change, but the reason it isn't easy to change is it has to be for a very significant reason, right? And so, and that's the question with, you know, what they're proposing on the highway, is that it pretty much doesn't meet a lot of the CDP requirements or policies or maps or other things. But there is a significant need. So does that need outweigh what was created based on the community's input over almost 10 years, right? So it's not for me to decide. Well, but on the same part, that's why we don't want it to be flexible, right? Because we don't want it easy for somebody to come in and just do whatever they want. We want it so that it protects the identity.
Nobody's ever gonna be able to do that. They have to go through the
Well, we have to do our darndest, that's our job. That's our duties. That's what the community is
So,
for.
you know, so that's, I mean, if you look at, and we have it printed out, you know.
Are we doing anything else tonight?
I don't think so. We're going around in circles again.
I'd like to.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. All right, well, with that, I like
Jason,
Put this on the next one.
okay, yeah.
Jason?
We can go back. So if there's no further, yes. Bye-bye.
I just have a question about this item we're discussing. Since it's been 10 years since the CDP recommendations were made to the county, it perhaps, is this the time we need to be looking at everything in the land use maps and not just this one?
That seems very appropriate, and I think it's both what Miriam and Taylor's concern addresses. So I don't know how we would do that. I don't know, is that like a community process or?
So there's a lot of ways to update the CDP. I would recommend that, since this would be a committee-initiated update of what you, this is kind of what you guys are saying, that it would be first for the committee to look at the document and start redlining it. Start marking it up. What's new? What's missing? What doesn't matter anymore? Things like that. I mean, you guys are document is relatively recent, so it's not like totally likely. But there could be things that are missing that are coming up and more relevant to today's conversation. We do, I think it's like every 10 years we're looking for that update, right? So I would recommend the committee now to keep in line with Sunshine. That would either have to be, you guys only talk about this as a group at the meetings, which is a slow process. Another option is 2 people kind of team up and kind of do their own piece and you know, meet outside of this and work on it. With planning or with other stakeholders or whoever. The third option would be to create that permitted interaction group again. And the 3 to 4 people join that group from this committee, and you can add whoever you want from the outside as well. And you guys work on a report, and you come up with a final report. These are the changes that we want to see in a new update, and then you present it to the committee as a whole, to whoever else wasn't in the committee and the group. And then you guys eventually vote on that. You might tweak it some more as a group or whatever, but then you kind of vote on that. And then that gets presented to essentially planning. And then depending on that going further, it would be like, then the director would kind of initiate that update or what have you. And then we'll kind of evaluate what that is. And maybe the recommendation is, oh, the CDP is garbage, we need to start all over. Oh my God, okay, well, let the county find 500K to make a new document.
Progress.
So this could go beyond just the maps. This could be.
And there could be the whole document as a whole, and all the CDPs needed, or everybody does their homework and shows up to the next meeting ready to.
So it's not a big deal to change a lot of things in the CDP.
But it's going to be a lot, so I would recommend one of the other options.
So maybe, so at this time, if as individuals, I mean, I've read the document too many times, but if there's anything that stands out that you're like, oh wow, like obviously this doesn't reflect what's current, right? How do we move forward with that? So then, everybody write it down, Babette, and at the next meeting, so we could put this back on the agenda and say, oh, maybe there's a whole bunch of stuff, maybe there's one thing, maybe it's just this Pahala, situation, whatever the case, and then we can move forward forward that way. Does that make sense for everybody?
Perfect, we just gotta make things easier for the community. That's the main thing.
All right,
For the
so,
community. CDP is community development.
right, so I'll make a motion that we bring back an analysis of CD land use, maybe of just the CD.
Do I have to withdraw my other motion?
What was your motion?
I just made a motion to put this on to the next agenda.
Okay.
And then you should go ahead.
We'll just move forward with,
Put it on agenda.
we'll move forward with Cavani's motion, and at that time, anybody that identifies any further discussion can present it at that time, yeah? Sounds good?
Somebody got to second.
I think somebody did.
Second.
Yeah, all right, so is there any further discussion on this item? Any public testimony? Yes.
Can I just say one thing as a real estate individual? As you guys are talking about the 3 acres or the 10 acres, right? And then that leaves a huge, large acreage that's zoned ag.
Right.
There are ways that I think the county, it could come down the line, but those remaining ag could be put into something like an ag preservation in perpetuity, right? So if you're giving something or taking something out, there could be a benefit to the community that not the whole parcel gets put into something of that sort.
Right.
So there are other recommendations like that that could be done, and you can just leave that as an open to the county to decide how much, and then put the forever, that would all be added for the same. It's just, I mean, there, you know, in certain things like this, I understand that there's some take from what the CDP may say, but there could also be some give that, back into that. So there's, you know, just as an option.
And could you say your name for the record?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
My name is Billy. I just talk about the businesses locally here, developing presence and stuff like that. And what I've been doing lately is interviewing lots of people, and I interviewed Wayne and a lot of other elders. And I understand the concept of keeping Kaʻū. However, what I think I learned from them is children are leaving, generations are leaving, and if there is no children, there is no Kaʻū, there is no future. So I believe, you know, adding so much friction to keeping Kaʻū might risk Kaʻū being Kaʻū. So I think keeping Kaʻū home is really the...
It's a delicate matter.
Finally, somebody got on my ship. Somebody saved that
So with
forever.
that, we will move forward with...
The kitchen on.
No, we'll get to that. Alright, so we'll move forward with public testimony and matters not on the agenda. The time is now 7:19 p.m. The committee will call for statements from the public regarding items not on the agenda. Public testimony may be limited to 3 minutes in length per item. If there is anyone here who would like to testify, please fill out the sign-up form on the front table and give it to the staff. Is there any public testifiers at this time? Alright, are there any testifiers on Zoom at this time? Alright, seeing none, we move to third-party reports from government officials. The time is 7:19 p.m. The committee will now call for statements from third-party reports by any government official not included on the agenda. It says planning staff to give update on planning department public notice procedures. Can we come back to that after proposed? So we'll come back to that. So proposed new business. Do any action committee members have any items that they would like to consider for a future meeting? I have a few, but I will let others go first if you have any. Alright, so I will mention it shortly.
I have one, please.
Yes.
The registration machines that are at Safeway. You know,
That's a great idea. Like a DMV. That's a great idea.
Oh, the kiosk?
Yeah, a little kiosk. I mean,
so like a DMV kiosk somewhere.
They have one in CDP.
Not only somewhere.
Yeah,
I mean, more than one would be great. At least one in Kaʻū.
Something.
That's a great idea. That's
all we're asking.
Where's Carl?
DMV.
He's
Carl, I should need him.
Give it to him.
Put it on. He'll jump on it.
Yeah, put it on him. Put it on Carl.
Yeah.
I like that.
Alright, so with that, we'll bring back as a formal item I think that is a phenomenal idea. We want to have a follow-up for the Wauhina transfer station. We had worked with them some time ago. I know they said staffing would be the primary concern.
Yeah, we haven't heard from them in a while.
In Ocean View, so yeah, we need an update.
So, okay, so we want a Wauhina transfer station, additional, day open, follow-up. And then, one thing that, Michelle mentioned, at the last meeting in Ocean View was, having an animal control and potentially some sort of other police station in Ocean View. I don't know if that's something we want to.
I guarantee you need one police station in Ocean View. Only one stop station. Ocean View only one stop station you have, right?
Yeah, I don't know that
we need
on
them.
They're in the same.
We need bars.
That's where everything's happening.
We need bars.
A DMV kiosk, similar to the one located in Hilo at Safeway, to be provided somewhere in Kaʻū. So I think those are three good items.
Yeah, what about a stop sign at South Point intersection, you know the split? Well, I see you guys going back and forth, somebody will get a mean accident there.
All the way at the bottom?
No, the top, at the top, right there. Come down to the bottom, but you know the split there?
The one on the highway? Come on.
The one that goes down to Palo Alto?
No, before that, more below. You know the one that go to South Point, right there? And then Harlem go to Kalana Boatman.
Yeah.
I think we need a stop sign right there.
So, I think that's
It's counted. It's counted. The road is counted.
I don't know.
All the road is counted, no. All the road is counted, the land is DHHL on the side. They don't own the road. No way. DHHL can never own the road. It's county road.
Yeah, because they take care of their side.
Yeah, they take care of all that. They cut their grass, you know. Yeah, that's
Alright,
right.
so we'll bring it back for discussion and we'll probably have to create something.
I think we need a stop sign.
Oh, every time in the
Yeah, I think it's scary, man.
I mean, it's so hard to let somebody go. Like, I gotta go right now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wow. Alright, so working the road.
So that's at Kalaya and Kalana, yeah?
Yeah, split the one you call
Fork on the bottom. Okay, alright, so, looks like we have quite a few items in addition to bringing back the other one. So, planning staff was going to give an update on planning department public notice procedures. Would you like to do that at this time?
Go on, I'd love to. Okay, Hamakua with the public notices. Hamakua CDP has been adamant that planning public notice procedures aren't that accessible. Essentially, is kind of the piece of it. They requested from planning a district-specific email listserv that administrative permit notifications would go through. So, if you look at the different divisions of the planning commission, they have email listservs that go out to blast, and so that's your rezones, your special permits, your use permits, things like that. And like even within long range, our committee, all our different committees have different email listservs that the community signs up for their district. But administrative permits, their current procedures are posting in the newspaper a few times a month, and then we do post a copy of that on our website. But because Hamakua's AC was basically saying, why can't you also create an email listserv? So the director received it, held some manager meetings with the staff to see how we can make that happen, because even if we wanted to do it tomorrow, our systems really aren't even in place for it. And this also correlates with federal requirement for stronger ADA requirements across county governments for anything that's posted online or made to the public. And a little newspaper clipping on our website just doesn't cut it also in that sense. So there's a lot of push for these changes. And so I believe in the director's response letter, Hamakua meets next week to kind of discuss it, and I believe the director will be going to one of their meetings in April to kind of continue giving updates on the matter. But they are looking at creating working with the IT to work with videos to show the public how to use our online permitting system and to do relevant advanced searches on there, so you can see what's happening in your neighborhood or wherever you want to look on the island. Changing some of the language in the blurb that's posted in the newspaper to direct people to go to the website as an option of that I don't know if you've heard of it, it's called EPIC. It's where all the permits are processed nowadays. Also looking into changing staff procedures within the Administrative Permits Division to allow an email list to be created and to have staff designated to be pushing out those applications. It's not as, it sounds pretty simple to like just say, well, just make a district specific listserv. You already have an online database with the EPIC system, but unfortunately, the way the data works, we work with IT, we work with EPIC, it's kind of locked up in the zeros and ones of how the systems are set up. So EPIC has like proprietary information that they won't release to us, and like it's like a whole thing. So it's not as easy as just like setting up some code to automatically download it and send it out. So that would be the goal, and our team, along with the GIS team, is working to get like to work better with EPIC to have that interface. But it would have to be all manually done, and so then that's staff hours that we just technically don't really have on top of our vacancies. So finding a way to make it possible, but also changing procedures as a whole, so we're not creating like double or triple work for staff. And I think a baby step of that, like it probably won't be a district-specific email right away, but a general email for the whole island of applications as they come in. Because there is a process within code for when there's like a final plan approval or a variance, and when the public gets notified, or a subdivision, when the public gets notified. Right, you see those big white signs, that's part of the procedure. We require them to do that. And then there's a requirement that it gets posted in the newspaper, but they're all like on different schedules, like one's on the 1st of the month, one's on the 15th and the 30th of the month. Like it's kind of messy. So it's kind of looking at cleaning up that entire system for everybody as a whole. So I think that's why it's not just like, okay, yeah, tomorrow we can let it go. But that's the goal. So I believe that was kind of the idea of the director's letter, is that these are the certain things we're working on, and with the goal of having a simplified and more accessible notification system, or public notice procedures, if you will. Yeah. And it affects everybody, right? So Hamakua brought this up. I think Puna CDP actually specifically lists something along these lines of change request for planning, but it affects all the districts. And so that, hence, I think it's nice when you guys kind of keep it in tune with what each other is working on, and it kind of helps with that momentum also.
Anybody have any questions for Mary?
You're going to send us that link, yeah, for the general plan?
Yes. The link for the general plan. Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you, Mary. All right, moving forward to the announcements. So Councilmember Michelle Galimba is sharing a county employee Punuluku survey to gather the Kaʻū community's monopole on the present and future of Punuluku. So the survey is available on the agenda, www.surveymonkey.com/r/CXZYRGS. The next meeting is tentatively scheduled for March 24, 2026 at the Kaʻū Community District Gym, multi-purpose room. Do any other committee members have announcements at this time?
Hey, Chair, you know, now Michelle Galimba won the survey. I told her, I don't think it should be all over the place. It should be the Kaʻū people only. But this is dealing with Kaʻū people.
So
we shouldn't have input from outside, from Hilo, Kona, Honolulu. You know what I'm saying?
So
it should be only for Kaʻū, because this is the Kaʻū district. This is what we should be deciding, what we want and what we don't want. You know, it's for the local people that's there to make the decision what they want to do. Not people from outside, you see what I'm saying?
No, I agree.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It should be the people from Kaʻū making that, you know, decision.
Yeah, so I know one of the questions is, you know, if you're from Kaʻū or not, and if you are aware, but I think the reason they did that is it's the internet, so they don't know who's gonna take it, so they wanna make sure if people from outside of Kaʻū are taking it, at least they know, I mean, if they're honest, obviously.
Well, you know, they ain't gonna happen. No, but you know, say, but no.
No,
I don't support that at all, and I told her so. You know what I mean? I don't support that at all.
Yeah, that's the difficulty is if it's on the internet, unless there's like some kind of register, you know, you could use like your home address or something.
Well, just start it, don't go on the internet. Just go to the bulletin board. This is for Kaʻū. We don't need the internet. We're not on Kauai. We in Kaʻū. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's a very good point. So, all right, are there any other announcements at this time? All right,
Other than that, you guys doing a super job.
thank you, sir. So the time is now 7:30. I will now adjourn the meeting. The meeting is adjourned at 7:32 p.m. Thank you, and have a good evening. Everybody be safe.
Thank you, everybody.